And welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of the TV show. My name is Jay Black, joined as always by the wine drinking Rhea Hughes
Here
and
we go.
the sober but probably shouldn't be Angelo Cataldi. And guys, I sent you an email ahead of this show and said we need to clear out a lot of space for what I would like to describe as a debacle. Is that a fair statement, Angelo? Debacle?
Oh, yeah, but I agree with you. I love this is old school TV spectacle, a
Yeah.
big boxing match that enraptures the world. Oh,
Right.
I can't wait to see if they knock this out of the park.
Yeah, so the you and the rest of the country agreed. 60 million people tuned in to the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. Now, before we get started on any of this, did you guys know who Jake Paul was
Yes.
prior to this conversation? Okay, so did I. I have children in the house, so Jake
Yeah,
Paul
me too.
was on TV a lot with YouTube, and I grew to hate him from a young age. Like he was hateable. I mean, when you talk about phenoms in sports, this kid was the most hateable prospect, five-tool hateable player. Anyway, he got into boxing. And I'll leave it to you, Angela, to tell me if he's an okay boxer or not. But long story short, they go on Netflix, 60 million people to watch a 58-year-old man and a 27-year-old Disney TV star duke it out. And Netflix drops the ball incredibly. They have terrible production value. Their servers are incapable of handling all the people that are trying to watch this fight. And the fight itself, I think it's fair to say, is a stinker. Angelo, you're a boxing guy. Tell me what happened on Friday night.
All right. People, look, I watched it, but I did not watch it to see a great sports spectacle. There were many clues prior to the actual event that this was going to be, as you called it, a debacle.
Yeah.
14-ounce gloves. That is, in boxing terms, a pillow fight. You understand? There's so much padding on the
Yeah.
glove that you don't really wreak havoc. 2-minute rounds,
Right.
not three. Any real fight has 3-minute rounds. It's the whole concept is endurance, the what stamina. But they did 2-minute rounds and only 8 rounds, 16 minutes total. All right. Then you look in the booth. Who's bringing us this event? All right. Uh, the big telltale sign was, and I'll be honest, I was relieved. I hadn't seen Rosie Perez do the right thing, which is like 30 years
Yes.
ago. I
Yeah.
thought she had died. I'm so happy she's still around. But when you place a D-list actress who calls herself the king of boxing for whatever
Right.
reason, right? Well, you're putting that person in the box. She's never done a fight. Let's have her do the
Yeah.
fight that has got $60 million just as a purse.
Was there any tie-in, Ange? Like, was there any reason
No,
she was picked?
she's the queen of boxing or something. She
Okay.
she enjoys boxing, Rhea. That's enough, isn't it?
Okay.
Come
I
on.
Right.
I enjoy dancing and singing, but I'm not Justin Timberlake. I mean,
Hey, you should go on Dancing with the Stars.
yeah.
Then they had this guy doing the play-by-play, Mauro Manolo.
Yeah.
That guy should be in prison for what it was the biggest charade. He was announcing this like it was Ali Frazier. He
Yeah.
was
Right.
screaming, and nothing was happening. No one was landing the blow, and he was, "Whoa, whoa." And then Roy Jones Jr. was there. Actually,
Well,
kind of liked him. I covered him in the 1988 Olympic Games, and he was much more glib then than he is in the booth. Let's
Right.
put it that way. It was, and then one other thing, Jay liked, what was his name? Big Mo.
I did like Big Mo.
The
I thought he was
ring
good.
announcer. Couldn't be a bigger ripoff of Michael Buffer.
I'll
Yes.
take it.
Yes.
No, it was a cheap impersonation of the greatest boxing announcer in history. It was awful. It started after midnight on the
Insane.
East Coast. And let me tell you something. I was entertained. the bigger a debacle something is, the
Yes.
more I enjoy it.
Rhea, I know you go to bed very early, even on a
Yeah.
Friday. Did you watch the fight in real time, or did you watch
So
it?
no, I recorded it because the night before the Eagles played a Thursday night game, which meant I got about 2 hours of sleep.
Sure. Yeah.
So by 8 o'clock on Friday night, I was in a deep REM sleep. But I did. I
So is
really,
Mike Tyson.
yeah, exactly. Now, Ange, I'll tell you, we got a caller on Monday who said, now this, take it for what it's worth. He said it was on Black Twitter. So I'm not really sure that that's like a whole segment, but he said on Black Twitter, there were rumors that Mike Tyson had signed a contract that he would not throw an uppercut. Now, I looked into a little bit. It's just rumors, but people
Sure.
are saying that that rumor is out there. So I just want to put that out there because if Mike Tyson had hit Jake Paul with an uppercut, he probably would have killed him. I watched it for one reason only. And this was, I was doing like a reconnaissance mission because I know that Netflix is carrying two massive NFL games on Christmas. They're carrying let me get this right. Yeah, the Chiefs and the Steelers
Oh,
and the Ravens and the Texans on Christmas Day.
oh,
I think if you start to watch it on Christmas, now the Chiefs Bills game the other night, Ange, the 4 o'clock game, which was phenomenal,
yeah.
drew over 30 million viewers. Okay.
Right.
One of their best ever. I think they said fourth best ever regular season game. You've got Christmas. So let's double that because people got nothing to do and nowhere to go because things are closed. Okay.
Correct.
And if you start watching it on Christmas with the buffering, I think you'll be done by New Year's Day. So, I mean, it's not, if the NFL was not freaking out, and that, again, it's the only reason, but I had, I recorded, I was getting glitch. I'm like, what are the glitches here? This is kind of weird. But it was just, it was not a good look for Netflix. And I love how Netflix declared it was a success. Yes, I already pay you monthly. It
Right.
comes out automatically. Yeah, you have my money. It's a success.
That's the thing. If Netflix can't get this right, how can anybody? You're talking about it. They knew it was going to be huge. That's why
Yeah.
they arranged for the fight in the first place. They, I'm sure, wanted to announce themselves as a live platform. But if Netflix, with infinite money and a lot of time to put together the server space and everything else that they needed to make this work, if they can't do it, I don't know if anybody can. I mean, this never happened in the days when it actually just came to your house via cable, right? I
Now,
mean,
Amazon does a really good job on Thursday night, but
Yeah,
again,
they do.
Thursday night, they do. They don't draw nearly the crowd. Thursday
sure.
night is as close to a provincial audience I think you will get in the NFL of anywhere.
Yeah.
If my team is not playing on Thursday night, I'm generally asleep. So they don't get the audience, but they do. Amazon has done a really nice job doing Thursday night football.
My spin is different this, Jay.
Yeah.
I embraced the technical issues because they brought a brief but welcome reprieve from having to watch the awfulness of the event. When the
Well,
voice left or when the picture left, I was happy.
so let me ask you, 'cause I think Rhea just popped out, so she might be popping back in a second. Tell me what from a boxing point of view, tell me how bad this was, Angelo, because
Right.
I don't know enough about boxing. I used to watch boxing back when it was something that you could watch
Yeah.
on TV. I don't watch it anymore. Was this a even halfway marginally good fight?
All right, I told you about the 2-minute rounds and the 14-ounce club. So
Yeah.
already I could tell you it's not a real fight.
Right.
That's
Literal kid gloves, right? I mean, that's where the term comes from.
in the first round. Tyson looked okay. You said to yourself about a minute into the fight, this might be okay. And at that point, he was pretty much done. He was finished. I don't even know how much he worked out for this thing. At 58, I guess it doesn't matter. But the third round is when Paul could have knocked him out. He was defenseless. He was woozy. And you didn't have to be a boxing expert to see that Paul, rather than go in and take him out, did the opposite. And Paul just basically carried him from there to the end of the fight, while this Manolo guy just kept screaming that this was the greatest thing he'd ever seen.
And are you telling
It
me
was, it was,
he pulled his punches?
I don't know, in the entire fight, Rhea, Tyson landed 18 punches. All right.
Wow.
That's not even a good round in a real fight.
No,
all right.
no.
So that was awful about it. And the bottom line on it was people are always going to be suckers. When you build up an event, especially boxing, even now it's still there. You can build something up and get everybody thrilled, take their money, and then scoot out the door before they see garbage. What you saw on Netflix last week was unmitigated sports garbage.
Wow. So let me ask you this then, Rhea. Do you think that Netflix hurt its brand by doing this? I mean, do you think that people will not watch a Netflix fight in the future, or maybe even boxing hurt its brand? Because if this is your first exposure to boxing, I mean, would you go back to watch another fight? I don't think I would. I mean, it just seemed like two idiots slapping at each other. Oh, we lost Rhea again. Angelo, I'll ask you.
Having a signal problem. I'll just say that I have every intention to watch every boxing event Netflix does for a foreseeable future, as long as Rosie Perez is still doing it now.
That would
no Rosie, no me. It's a package deal. All I can tell you.
I'll tell you, Angelo, I honestly had flashbacks to Dennis Miller, because that's what it felt like to me. And that was one of the greatest all-time failures in the history of sports. You couldn't find a bigger Dennis Miller fan than me in the 1990s. And they said, you know what? Let's make him the third man in the booth on Monday Night Football. Back when Monday Night Football was an event, it was still one of the biggest deals on TV. And you know what? When they discovered, it doesn't matter how funny or charming you are. By the way, Rosie Perez, neither of those things.
No.
But it doesn't matter. You want someone who knows what they're talking about in there. And, they always say, like, well, he'll be the voice of the fan, or she'll be the voice of the fan. I don't want to hear other fans. I can talk to other fans. I want to hear experts talk about it. And one last thing I'll say, even going back to George Foreman doing color commentary on HBO, maybe a guy who spent 20 years getting punched in the head shouldn't be the color commentator on any sports program. Because Roy Jones Jr., you can't find a better boxer than Roy Jones Jr. And he's kept saying, I don't like the looks of his legs. I don't like the looks of his legs.
It was crazy how much he cared about the legs.
Yeah. I mean, like, I get it. That's probably a pretty big deal. But, like, someone should have been in his ear going, Roy, you can talk about something else, Roy. You don't have to talk about the legs. And we got Rhea back.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm like Netflix. I'm ripping them for not having connectivity. I will say this, just in my defense, I lost power at 3 a.m. while I was in the shower.
Oh,
so I've reset everything, but apparently I have to reset it again. But hopefully, I'm took it off my phone, so hopefully I'm good.
Well, Rhea, here's what you missed. We decided it wasn't a very good fight while you were off.
Okay.
All right, so Rhea, that you're back. I want to talk to you about the Taylor Sheridan verse. Which I sent you over an article about how this guy basically lives in a cabin and like lifts weights and writes TV shows. He currently has 4 TV shows on the air concurrently. And like David E. Kelly in the past, and like Aaron Sorkin in the past, he's a guy that doesn't necessarily have other people writing with him. He does a lot of this writing all by his lonesome. So here's my question to you. Is this too much? Should he dial back? Or do you subscribe to my theory that part of the reason why he's doing so well and why people love his show so much is because it's being filtered through one guy's perception? We're getting something that we don't normally see on TV, which is a point of view. Usually everything runs through like a Netflix, council of executives or whatever that hammers out those things. This is just Sheridan writing off the top of his head. What do you think about all that?
Well, you know how I feel about British shows. British shows are primarily written by one writer. Now, it has started, I did a little, you had sent me that. I did a little research on it. They are starting to introduce the concept of showrunners over there, but primarily, but their shows are also much shorter than
Right.
those in the United States. They're, the ones I'm going to review today, 3 episodes, 4 episodes. Here's where I think sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. So let's go back to True Detective. We
Right.
all love season 1 of True Detective.
Yep.
Same guy wrote the first 3 seasons. Season 1, phenomenal. Season 2, eh. Season 3 was okay. Season 4, completely different writer. Many people had I was kind of menza on it, but I think when they're a David Kelly type, I mean David Kelly shows I generally love.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I mean, you know, so I think it's not bad to have other people kind of help you with, like, listen, when Angelo did the show, Angelo mapped out the show. And then, but he was always open to, he would say to me before the show, like, what do you think of this? And I'd be like, here's what, he was always willing to listen to me, but he was going to run his own show. But he took input from me. He
Right.
took input from Al. He absolutely took input from Joe Wechter. I know that, best producer in the business.
Right.
So one voice is good with a little help. The problem I think what happens with shows in the US is the head person gets inundated with budgets and all kinds of stuff instead of just being the creative voice. That's what British writers are fighting against, that they don't want that. So I lean more towards the single writer with some people just kind of offering their thoughts rather than 12 people in a room. I think that's too much.
Angelo, you're a huge West Wing fan, which is the singular voice of Aaron
Sorkin,
Sorkin, right? I
Sorkin's
mean,
phenomenal to me.
yeah,
And David E. Kelly, I love him. Sheridan's okay. I like Tulsa King. I haven't
yeah,
seen season 2 yet. But I believe his success, Sheridan's success, is countercultural. I believe that he is a guy writing about a macho man's world in a woke society, that he is a throwback,
right,
that in some ways his success is similar to Trump winning the election again, that people have had enough of all this political correct stuff, and now they're swinging toward this kind of take, which Sheridan has given you. And look, nothing against him. He's obviously been a great success, but I don't put him in the pantheon with those other writers you mentioned,
right.
because kind of Sorkin and Kelly, not so much, but Sorkin is amazing at going into all different worlds. He's amazing at so many different places, settings. Sheridan basically is a Western guy, and even when his shows aren't Westerns, they play like Westerns.
Right.
I don't need
Well,
it.
and it's the thing. I did see Tulsa King season 2. I'll talk about it later on. And it gets weird in parts, and it gets weird in ways that TV shows don't usually get weird. Like it goes down like rabbit holes that they kind of go, we're done with that. Let's move on. Like usually when you break out a season, you break out a season and you understand what each thing is going to happen in each episode. I get the feeling that Sheridan's like, oh, this would be cool if this happened. And no one's there to go like, well, do we need that? And it's like, no, I just think it'll be fun.
Hold on. You're saying season 2 is weird. The pilot of
Yeah,
Tulsa King has Sylvester Stallone sleeping with a younger woman.
right,
After they sleep together, he reveals that he's 76. And
right.
she goes something along the lines of, ugh. And
Yeah,
you're saying season 2 is weirder than that?
it is. So Terrence Winter, who you might know is the showrunner from what do you call it? Brooklyn Empire, right? Boardwalk Empire, excuse me. He was the showrunner in season 1, and now he's not. Now it's Taylor is
Wow.
complete control over season 2. And yeah, it gets, and when I say weird, not the events, but like the pacing is different than a regular show. It feels like a guy sitting in a cabin writing 2 episodes a day in between pull-ups. All right, last thing I want to talk about before we get to our regular segments, let's do it quick. Red One, the brand new The Rock movie, came out in theaters yesterday or this weekend. It cost Angelo $250 million, which is insane. It's an insane amount of money for a Christmas action movie, which isn't even a genre. It made $34 million. It's a
Oh,
certified flop. This is like a studio killing sized flop. Is my one question to you is The Rock responsible for this? Is he no longer a movie star? Because I can't remember the last hit he was in.
The Rock is 100% responsible for making this awful film, Red One.
Right.
They would not have made it until his name was on a contract.
Right.
His name was going to carry the movie. But that doesn't mean that because his name is on it, it's automatically a hit. All right. And it will in no way impact The Rock negatively. He will still make whatever the hell, however 30, $40 million he made for the movie. Robert De Niro, has made so many horrible movies. But whenever you hear Robert De Niro's name, he's still, oh my God, he's so incredible. You know,
Right.
that will not bother him. What gets me is the approval of it without ever considering that it's a horrible idea for a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And this led me to where I want to try to take a little tangent here, Jay, because I want to understand something. You work for Lifetime and Hallmark.
Sure.
You write a lot of these movies. You've done Christmas movies.
Right.
They're year round now. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Why are there so many Christmas movies available, new ones, all the time on TV, most of which are pretty awful?
Well, I mean, from the Hallmark and Lifetime perspective, those things, you run a new one every weekend. People love them. They tune in. It's one of the few things that you can still get reliable cable ratings for. From a studio perspective, a good holiday picture pays dividends for decades.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. The Nightmare Before Christmas, which works as both a Christmas movie and a Halloween movie. So you can run it October, November, December. That makes Disney another $8 to $10 million in theater rentals per year. So we're talking for 30 years, they've been re-releasing this movie and making $10 million. That's an extra $300 million on top of what they already did. So if you get a mild hit out of it, that's good. If you get a major hit out of it, I mean, think about the returns that Elf must get every single year.
Elf. I love Elf. Like, I
Yeah,
can't wait to watch Elf. Clark, Home Alone, on Christmas Day or like around Christmas, he will go through, like, I didn't know there was 8 Home Alones.
Yeah.
There might be more.
There are
I
8?
didn't know that. I didn't know that. But here, can I say something about Red One? Because I saw the preview, and Jay, you may have too. When I went to see The Wild Robot,
Yep.
they previewed Red One. And I'm sitting there with Clark's friends, Valentino, because Clark met us there because he was coming from school. And we laughed hysterically.
Yeah.
I go, Valentino, we got to go see this. We got to tell Clark. He's like, yeah, we're going to see it. And I'm thinking, when I saw how bad it was, I was like, did they put all of the good scenes in the trailer? Because the
1,000%.
trailer was funny.
Yeah.
Didn't you find the trailer funny?
I thought, not only did I think the trailer was funny, I thought that the idea for this movie, I could see someone in the executive room going, okay, that's a twist we haven't seen.
Yes.
How can we get The Rock in a Christmas movie? All right. And then you put it all together, and sometimes you can spend $250 million and get a giant movie star, and you still fail. You know what? One thing you never fail at, though, is when you're looking for a diamond and you go to Steven Singer Jewelers. Angelo, tell me about Steven Singer.
Well, you just said the magic word, Christmas. So this is when you start thinking, all right, I'm going to be honest, full disclosure here. In a month, I will be experiencing my 25th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Right? Gail should get a prize. How did she do that? Rhea, how did she do that?
No, she should get a big diamond from Steven Singer Jewelers.
It's still, I think it's, and I actually said to her yesterday, I said, Gail, I got to do something big for 25. Most people see us and go, how the hell is she doing that? Right? So literally and figuratively. So, and I go, well, I know where I'm going. I'm going to the man, Steven Singer. And the great thing about Steven, I have no idea. I guess it's silver anniversary.
Yeah.
I just go to Steven and go, Steven, I got to knock it out. I got to hit a home run here. Help me. And then I leave it to his expertise. I know I will get great suggestions. Never fails. I will get a tremendous deal, honest deal, fair deal, like everybody gets. And I won't have to deal with the mumbo jumbo you do at just about every jeweler, especially around the holidays. It's a no brainer to me. You need something special for a holiday or any time. Steven Singer Jewelers is the place.
Any budget, anything you want, they will help you. It's so simple. It's so easy. You will love Steven Singer Jewelers.
You can go to IHateStevenSinger.com. You don't even need to leave your phone. Just scroll down on this podcast and hit the button. Go buy. Get it done now. Just buy your Christmas present now and be done with it. Stop worrying about it. Get it done. And somebody else who gets it done every week, Rhea Hughes, whether she has connection issues or not, she shows up and talks about British TV. Tell me what we're talking about this week, Rhea.
All right, I'm going to make this quick because I'm actually going to do 3 quick ones. So Sherwood dropped season 2. I love Sherwood season 1. That was BritBox. And absolutely loved it. It was actually Sherwood Forest, somebody who grew up there, dealt with 2 murders, the mine situations that they had in like the 70s and the 80s in England, which were very controversial. Season 1, phenomenal. Season 2, I'm only on episode 2. I don't like it as much. It's a little more gritty, a little bit more too many. I would just say this for shows. Stop putting 25 people in the first episode of a show that I love the first season. Because if I got to get a pen and paper out and start writing down names, it's too, I don't need it. So I'm going to go through the next couple of episodes, but I'm not a huge fan of it. 2 other shows that I reviewed earlier, the Marlowe Murder Clubs. Finished all 4 episodes on PBS Masterpiece. Loved it. It's 3 women who get together in Marlow, England, which is a real place. And I want to tell you, I want to move there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful suburb on the River Thames, but it's a brilliant murder mystery. The twist for the murder mystery I loved it. So the Marlowe Murder Mysteries, PBS, 4 episodes. You will absolutely love it. And then I also finished Ellis. I had reviewed that for you guys. I said the woman I didn't know, Sharon Clark, who's the lead in it. She is like a famous stage actress in England. She's won 3 Oliviers, which Jay, I believe, is the equivalent to the Tony.
Yes.
So yeah, so she's amazing for murder mystery. She's a big time detective who gets dropped into different locales throughout England to solve murders that can't be solved. Love season 1. Didn't really care for season 2. Again, too many people for me to take care of. They wrapped up season 1 with episode 3. Loved it. It's a tremendous murder mystery. So I recommend Ellis, which is on Acorn. Marlowe Murder Mysteries, that is on PBS Masterpiece. And Sherwood, I'm not really sure about it. I'm going through it right now. That's on Acorn.
Wow. Thank you, Rhea. Very comprehensive, quick, and succinct.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Angelo, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, I went a little outside the lines this week. I decided to take a free week of AMC Plus because I had not seen anything on it. And I did it because I had seen a show they gave me for free. They only gave me the first episode, called The Lovers. Now, Rhea, I'm a little bit in your area here. I was only watching it because I have a crush on Alice Eve.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
She's
Everybody
an English actress, and she is stunningly beautiful, and I want to see her in it. Little did I know that she plays a bit part. It is 6 episodes. I signed up for AMC for the week so that I could watch them all. It's fantastic. You want to see great chemistry between 2 people. My God, the actress Rysand Gallagher and Johnny Flynn. I think Flynn is an Irish actor. I'm not sure. You have seen lots of romantic stuff, right? And they have kind of a love-hate thing going. You have never seen better chemistry between 2 people in a romantic comedy than you will see in The Lovers. I highly recommend it. And then, because
what's the just real quick backstory? Because Jay, I think somebody recommended this in our fan mail.
Oh, really?
For me to watch.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think so too.
Please do, Rhea. Please do.
What was it that she meets him and he's kind of like a contractor and she's like kind of posh?
No, he is actually a TV political commentator.
Oh, okay.
And she works in a big box store.
Oh, so it was flipped.
It's the
So
other way, but it's
got it.
oh, yeah, you can't believe the
Okay.
chemistry. But I gotta believe like they have something going on the side
Yeah.
because it's very. Anyway, and the other thing, then I found a movie that is just so good. I couldn't believe it, and there is actual buzz. The name of the movie is Ghostlight, very low budget, and the main character is a guy named the actor is Keith Kupferer. Never heard of him. He plays a grieving dad who suddenly discovers an outlet for his grief on stage. And then his daughter gets involved, and then his wife gets involved. And what's amazing about it is that the father, the son, and the daughter are actually a father, a son, and a daughter.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's how low budget this was. I
wow.
guarantee you will be totally swept up in it. And it's a phenomenal story, beautifully performed. Ghostlight. Both of
Ghostlight.
these are great, and they're both on AMC Plus.
Excellent. And I promised I would say Tulsa King season 2. I did a binge watch of all of Tulsa King season 1 because I had like crapped out at like the 5th episode. So I went back and rewatched all of Tulsa King season 1, and then I watched season 2. And it is striking the difference between season 1 and season 2. Season 2 becomes a lot more of a generic crimes tale. It's less of a comedy of a fish out of water. We spend a lot of time in New York. We spend a lot of time with a character named Bellavacqua, which is the Kansas City head of the mafia who thinks that Dwight is infringing on his soil, so they have to go to war. So it's a lot of mafia warfare. But I will say, as I said earlier in the podcast, it's an interesting watch because it doesn't follow the beats and rhythms of a normal TV show. It really does go down rabbit holes that you're not expecting. Like I thought the second season was going to be about his trial. Spoiler alert for season 1. He does get arrested at the end of season 1, and season 2 starts with him doing the trial. No, it's taken care of by the 3rd episode. It's almost like Taylor Sheridan was like, I'm done. It's boring. Moving on, moving on. It honestly feels like him doing a lot of moving on. But listen, Sylvester Stallone is still amazingly charismatic, and you basically are happy that he's there. If you are a middle-aged dad or older, it was built for you from the ground up. So as a middle-aged dad myself, I enjoyed it. So
Real quickly, Angelo always knew when I said something was interesting, it means I was just too nice to say it sucked.
Well, no, I'm going to say this.
True.
I meant it was truly interesting. You're truly going, this is weird. So it's worth checking out. I liked it. Let's call it a 7 out of 10. Let's give it a gentleman's C.
Let me review what we got. I do have a couple of programming notes. If you would like to see the reunion episode of Great Sports Debate, it is on NBC Sports Philadelphia Saturday night at 10:30. And will be shown multiple times after that. But check it out. It was really fun to do. And I did do the sit down for the Vice TV special they're doing on grudges in sports. And I got an opportunity in retirement to rip Donovan McNabb one more time. So it was really charming. I'll let you know when that comes out. If you would like to see this debacle that we talked about at the beginning of the show, you could still see it on Netflix. They've removed the technical issues, but it is still there and it's still awful. Right? If you would like to compare it to a great actual train wreck in a movie, the greatest story ever told is available on Amazon Prime. So you could, and that has a 15-minute train wreck. So you can watch the actual train wreck and then watch the boxing thing and compare. All right, when it comes to British TV, we got 3 offers today. Sherwood, watch season 1 if you haven't seen it. Rhea loved that. That's on BritBox. Season 2, we're not sure of yet. And then we've got the Marlowe Murder Club. That is on PBS Masterpiece. And Ellis is available on Acorn. I've got Ghostlight. The movie is on AMC Plus. The Lovers is on AMC Plus. That's a 6-episode series. And then Tulsa King, you could see on Paramount Plus.
Absolutely. And you should go right now to angelocataudi.com, amazon.com, and or audible.com to get Angelo Cataudi's book, Loud. I'm sure there's some stuff about Donovan McNabb in Loud. So if you
Yes.
if you'd like to get a little bit of a recap of that, you can go there. Also, check out my movie Tenants, which is available on Apple TV and basically everywhere else you can buy a movie. And hey, check out our podcast. Tell people about the podcast. Keep it going. Rate and review us. And while you're at it, go buy a diamond for anybody that listens to our podcast on Steven
Yes.
Singer. IHateStevenSinger.com. And as always, send us a fan mail. We do read them every single week. We appreciate you doing it. And we'll be back next week. Pre-Thanksgiving show next week. So we're going to be eating turkey. We'll see you then.